Hey everybody, welcome back to Backlog Banter. I'm your boy Abram, joined as usual by Tucker Hazel, and we are here today to discuss our thoughts on the Animal Crossing New Horizons start that just happened. But before we do, if you want to tell us your thoughts on Animal Crossing or anything else at all, be sure to join our Discord. Once you've done that, like the video, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, and only then will I allow you to leave a comment.
Yes,
Only
true.
then.
You gotta complete the steps.
Yes. But Tucker, before we actually get into it, I just want to say right off the top, we are not going to talk about the Nintendo Switch Online pricing. That is its own discussion.
Yes.
And also, I am personally hoping that in the next couple hours, Nintendo drops a little bit more information there.
That sounds like a good plan.
So we're not
On
going
their
to jump
part.
the shark on that. Yes. We're going to save that conversation for later.
Mhm.
Right now, we're only going to talk about the Animal Crossing content.
Believe it or not, we're gonna be spending our discussion on the Animal Crossing content. Talking about the Animal Crossing content.
Unlike Nintendo, we're not going to throw a major piece of news
Yeah.
or discussion into this video. But Tucker, I want to just pose to you the what I think is the essential question.
Yes.
As people who've been playing New Horizons since launch,
Mhm.
is this 2.0 update and or Happy Home Paradise
Mhm.
going to get you playing the game regularly again?
I think it's a lot of interesting information that could be the refresh that I needed in terms of I do feel like I played the game for 150 hours or whatever, day to day for months straight. And I feel like I got my fill of it and saw everything that I needed to. This is a lot of stuff that does seem fresh, that does seem to sort of mix up the way that I would be approaching my day-to-day island life. So, I mean, yes, I hope so. I can't future predict myself into playing it daily like I used to, but I would like to. I would like to get back into it. I would like to see how all this mixes things up. And with the expansion, which we will be getting through the membership, which we're not supposed to talk about here, I do think that especially adds enough for me to be like, wow, okay, I do feel like there's a lot more for me to engage with.
Yeah, I'm really excited to talk about Happy Home Paradise. I personally think that looks lovely. I'm really excited to play that. But and there's a big but here.
It's right in your chair, buddy.
Yes, fucking you know it.
Yeah.
The overwhelming majority of stuff we were shown today was New Leaf content. Even Happy Home Paradise, which I think looks great, is just a sequel to Happy Home Designer.
Yeah.
But the sequel element seems largely to be the fact that it's in New Horizons. What I mean is basically what the content is what Happy Home Designer was.
Yeah, placed in the context of the abilities that the expanded arsenal, as I said, in the reaction of what New Horizons allows.
Yeah, so you got the new characters that look great, as we'll discuss, and you've got some new ideas like counters and walls and everything. But by and large, it's what I already played in Happy Home Designer, right? So I can't help but feel disappointed, especially because they said this is the last major update.
It's interesting. Yeah, we've been waiting on the news drop of everything that was data mined in this game almost 2 years ago.
And we got it.
Yes, we got it. We got all of it. I was expecting it to be split up. I was expecting some of it to be Thanksgiving last year, some of the summer this year, and they just waited for whatever fuck reason, maybe because they wanted to release it with Happy Home Paradise, which I think is the most likely scenario. But it's interesting that everything was in the game, data mined, and we were just thinking that was the first wave of updates, but it's not. It was the entire content external to paid DLC.
Yeah, and I just the promise of New Horizons. Here's my thoughts on it. New Horizons is not the Animal Crossing game I wanted it to be, and I came to terms with that.
Yeah, took some therapy. Took a lot of late nights sitting awake, staring at the ceiling.
Absolutely, fucking ruined my life. Just kidding. The point is, Animal Crossing New Horizons is a fundamentally different Animal Crossing game than what came before.
Yeah.
And when I wrapped my head around that and said, okay, this is a different experience, what I wanted then was for the game to double down on that. But that's not really what we're getting. Essentially, what we're getting is New Leaf in the context of New Horizons mechanics. And that's interesting. And I'm excited for the ordinances. I'm excited for all the new shops and everything.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the only feature there that really interested me was cooking. And I'm super excited about cooking.
Yes.
But
by extension, farming.
Yeah, which are basically synergized together, which I think looks lovely. I can't wait for that mechanic.
Yes.
But that's the only thing that's taking the crafting elements, the agency over your environment the New Horizon gives you, and providing you a genuinely new idea with it. Because otherwise, it's like the Roost. I love the Roost. I love Brewster. Super excited to have that back. You've got Harv's Island, which is kind of recontextualized to basically just include all of your old friends that have not been in the game.
All of the temporary shops.
All the temporary shops
now have
and
a
like
permanent location. Yes.
Temporary shops.
Can we find out what he does? I mean, I don't really remember.
He said that he was like more storage, which
he is more storage. Where does he keep it? Where does he keep your 4,000 tires that you have sitting in your house?
but also it brings back like Katrina. It brings back Kicks. So and
Harriet, the fucking what's the sloth Leaf?
Yeah, and then it accumulates the shops like Leaf and Sahara and Red, Red and everything. So that's great. But it's familiar, and even Kapp'n, I love Kapp'n.
Yeah,
Kapp'n basically just takes you to the Nook Miles Tickets Islands.
Yeah.
So it just
an updated version, more and admittedly, I think improved because additional variety was very much
totally.
Excuse me, Nook Miles Tickets Islands were lacking. So having this to I believe it can take you to islands of different seasons, which is actually a really nice addition in terms of accessing multiple seasons worth of stuff. I think they said new items, new collectible stuff like that, exclusive to those islands, which is all good. But the fact that it is lacking what in New Leaf was Kapp'n's purpose, taking you to the mini games island, I think is really interesting in a bad way.
Yeah, I mean, because this would have been the perfect time to do that, right?
Yeah. New Horizons, the only time to do that now.
Sure, but comparatively, like having it in New Leaf was great. New Leaf actually had pretty robust online already, but in the era of Nintendo Switch Online and in the era of wanting to get people together, especially this game being popular during the pandemic and being a great social tool for people, it feels a little bit weird that that's not how Kapp'n came back. If you're basically just going to yoink stuff from New Leaf for New Horizons, yoink the mini games too, because they were kind of simple, but they were fun at least.
Yeah.
And then just say, hey, fucking Orville and Wilbur found a new navigation map. So if you go and
I would actually prefer them to add a third brother. And he runs like a rickety fucking ramshackle deal off the back of their thing. He's all shady. That would be great.
He's like the sort of pilot you find in an Indiana Jones movie.
Sure, yeah.
He wears a fedora.
Yeah. You don't want to go to him, but in a pinch, you gotta.
No, you walk to the to the Dodo Airlines house.
He's a lot like Dwayne The Rock Johnson's character in Jungle Cruise.
What a great reference. Yeah, he's standing on the dock. He's like, hey, I work for Dodo Airlines. Want me to take you there?
And like, Orville and fucking Redenbacher are in the back like, no, it's not. We don't know him.
Maybe, no, this guy's name would be Redenbacher.
That's a popcorn reference for those of you uninitiated. Oh Christ.
But Tucker, in spite of my disappointments with it basically being largely recycled content, it's a lot of recycled content.
Yes, there's a lot of new stuff, way more than honestly I was expecting. This was a 20-minute direct, and I was like, okay, that's a lot, but I expected what they've done in the past is delve pretty deeply into what each function does and how you interact with it. But as we were 7 minutes into this and we realized they announced like 12 new things, like, oh, this is going by fast, and it was at a clip. I mean, the entire thing was new announcements for new features for the game. Yeah, for the Animal Crossing New Horizons game.
We got to a 45 to 55-year-old white woman yoga at 3 minutes into the direct, and that's when I knew we were going to move at a steady clip, which I was quite pleased about. That's actually kind of a funny idea because there was this story that went around that's pretty interesting of like mostly like middle-aged moms playing Animal Crossing, but like jogging in place as their character moved and stuff. I forget who put this story up. It was some
John Cartwright, I think.
No, it was like New York Post or New York Times. Okay. It was like a place where it didn't make sense and it was already a bizarre story. So I think it's kind of clever that they're integrating this. I honestly would have liked them to be like, hey, you can use your Ring Con leg strap to walk around.
Sure.
That would have been interesting, but that also would have posed a control problem. The point is that the stretching is weird and cool, and I'm very excited to watch like fucking Hamlet with his dumb little piggy arms.
Oh, he's got tiny little hands. Yes.
Yeah. Doing yoga with you. But Tucker, I am going to return.
Yeah.
I think the problem is this for me, right? I do think that basically all of this content should have been there at launch.
Sure. Yeah.
Because ultimately it's not really new. I think in an ideal world, either this stuff was in the game at launch, or it was in the 9 months that immediately followed launch.
Great point. Great point.
And then this holiday could have been
more
Happy Home Paradise, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even if
that's a good point.
Even if we're gonna
up. Yeah.
Even if we're going to operate under the assumption that there is no more content coming, which I think is ridiculous. Your game sold 35 million units. Let's get some more content. Mm-hmm. But let's just say that you can't get any more for whatever reason. Team's moving on to a new project. Totally fine. Get it. Put this back when we needed new content, right? Mm-hmm. And then have the stinger like Octo expansion or something or Torna or whatever of here's the paid chunky DLC later. I think that would have been the smart play.
Yes. But instead they opted to play the nothing game, which is not necessarily true. There were smaller updates every couple months for I think about the first year, but they were relatively unsubstantial. Although I did very much enjoy the one where you could dive into the ocean and dive for little deals and stuff like that. But it's interesting that this is all also releasing on the same day. As someone who engaged with the stuff that they did add with the game, one thing that I praised the game on in some of our earlier discussions well over a year ago was that I did like that they were releasing small things for me to just focus on interacting with that.
Yeah.
The fact that these are releasing on the same day is, I actually don't think that's a very good idea. I mean, it makes sense in terms of, holy shit, it's been a long time. Let's just get everything out as soon as possible. But I would have wanted them to be separated so I could have interacted with the stuff that is external to Happy Home Paradise and then be able to focus just on that later on.
Yeah.
And give me more reasons to come back more consistently.
So for me personally, it doesn't really bother me. I actually think it might be smart. I think it's smart from a damage control perspective.
No, that's true. At this point, yes.
Yeah, oh shit, it's been so long and now we're going to charge you $25 for this piece of content. Mm-hmm. Well, at least here's all of this free stuff. We're going to put that out the same day, right? I think that makes sense. And ultimately, I think flooding the zone might not be a bad idea. If people are not playing this game regularly, I think it's going to take a shove to get them back into the game. And I think this is a shove, especially because ultimately Happy Home Paradise is not going to appeal to everybody, right? And Happy Home Paradise doesn't, other than like the Poké tickets, which give you new items to bring back to your island, and bringing your residents back and forth,
it's relatively external.
It's external. And so I think you needed that synergy of both to really get people back in the game. And for me, that's the jumpstart that's getting me back into it, is the fact that, oh shit, there is a ton for me to do now. This is a proper numbered update. And for me, I think that's what I needed.
And we'll see really how all this synergizes. One thing that I think is pretty exciting and is, for Animal Crossing standards, a pretty major addition is all these new things you can do within your house, dividing walls, lower counters, small spaces, all that stuff that's going to allow you to get a lot more granular. Accent walls, hanging lights, all this stuff that I think, as you said, some of it was Happy Home Designer, some of it's new. But in terms of an expansion for what Animal Crossing really as a focus is, which is interior design, this is a lot of stuff that's really going to change how people, I myself included, I'm not a great interior designer, but interact with that designing content. And of course, also expanding outside to the fact that you can place things outside in New Horizons. All of that I think is really exciting, and it might make me, I'm hypothesizing here, make me want to engage with all my designs in an entirely different way.
Yeah, so I think we should end this discussion by talking about Happy Home Paradise.
Sure.
The last thing I want to say, and we mentioned it, I think cooking looks phenomenal. That's the thing I'm most excited about in the Phase 2.0
all the food looks so detailed. Oh my god,
detailed. Then I hate to be the fucking stick in the mud, right?
You usually are.
I usually am. But why am I cooking? That's my main question.
Sure.
I really hope that there's even if it's something as simple as you fill out a recipe book, just something to incentivize me to make all of the recipes would be really great.
That I feel like that would have been information shown in this direct.
It probably would have been, but I don't think it'd be that hard to, in your I forget what it's called, your encyclopedia.
Oh no, good. That's a great point.
A page for bugs, a page for fish, a page for sea creatures, page for artwork, and then a recipes page.
No, that's a pretty good idea, and that would be a great incentive.
Yeah, and that's really simple. That's why I'd just be disappointed if there's no structure around that,
Yeah.
because cooking is such a cool idea.
And it's also possible that even in minor ways that that additional content gets recontextualized through seasonal updates, whether that is seasonal recipes, whether that is ways for that food to interact with Halloween, like you're making candy and giving it to your villagers, making Thanksgiving food and setting it out, making Christmas stuff that could be updated through that. And I think that's pretty likely. I mean, it's not a major content update, but seeing the things that they have even minorly recontextualized through holiday updates, I do think that applying that to what's new here could make all of it a lot more fun to interact with over the course of multiple seasons.
No, I totally agree. And I do hope that while they say that there's no more major content updates, that they still drop these little things like that, you know, new recipes, new models for the holidays, even if it's just to carry us through the end of this year, like a Christmas one, whatever, and then it just is cyclical, whatever. I hope you're on the right track there. But last thing I want to say, this is not going to happen. This would be too complex. But what if you made food and you gave it to Brewster and he served that in the roost? Wouldn't that be a good idea?
Well, here's the thing. That's not very complex. That's actually very simple. And actually, I hate to be that guy, but Brewster is the least exciting thing about this whole thing. I don't understand the point of the roost. I really think it seems kind of superfluous, though that is the intention of Animal Crossing design-wise, is just to have sort of a calming, fun additional thing to interact with. But from what I perceive as the additional mechanical complexities that New Horizons has added, I was hoping that Brewster and the Roost would at least be something a little more exciting and interesting to engage with.
I know. I think that makes total sense. I mean, the Roost has basically always been a late game. You got it. You did it type of thing. And it doesn't quite hit the same way when we've been waiting a year and a half for it, you know, and now we have it. So
we are late game at this point, and so we probably have it.
I'll be really curious how you unlock it. I hope that even if it's not mechanically that interesting, I hope that it is not a grind in a bad way, but a challenge to unlock it. You know, something you really have to work for. I think that adds a lot of progression. And I just like Brewster as a character. But
Happy Home Paradise. I like better as characters? Nico and Melik, I think his name.
I thought Static was his name.
No, Static was the little purple squirrel.
I thought Static was the monkey.
No, it starts with that's Nico. Oh. That's Nico. But Nico and his fucking manatee boy, who are Lottie's assistants, New Horizons has some phenomenal additional character design. Absolutely. And these two are just icing on the cake. Like, I didn't expect them. Like, it could have just been Lottie, but giving her two little guys who have these great color palettes and great designs and tons of personality. Oh my God, yes.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I bought Happy Home Designer at launch. Back on 3DS, and I really liked the game a lot.
Yeah,
but the problem with it was that there was just not enough to do beyond designing the houses. Now, okay, obviously, that's the point of the game. You design the houses, but it always felt like a piece that should have been in New Leaf.
Yeah.
So taking that and putting it into New Horizons is really great. I love the idea that you leave to go to work with Wilbur in the morning and he flies you here and you're designing the islands. I think that is really clever. That's a much better fit and makes this part of a larger synergy. You can send your villagers to the resorts. You can design their houses. You can have people come back. You can, get these new items to bring back home. I think that's all lovely. I think it all recontextualizes this in a way that makes sense.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about it. Again, though, like I said, the exterior design stuff was in Happy Home Designer. The ceiling items were in Happy Home Designer. The school, the restaurant, the hospital were in Happy Home Designer. It was all in Happy Home Designer. And so with the new items, with the new engine, with being inside, New Horizons, I think it's going to be a better revision of what Happy Home Designer was, but I don't think it's an evolution of what it was.
No, that's true. And as someone who didn't interact with it, I can't particularly say. And that's actually something that I maybe want to have a large discussion with at some point about how the Animal Crossing series has evolved, what new things were introduced each generation with each new game, and seeing how substantial now New Horizons is with all of its additional content, how it compares to older version stuff. But I'm interested to engage with it because I didn't do Happy Home Designer.
Yeah.
And that's obviously a very subjective thing, but hopefully this in its recontextualization and in it being stitched to the main game, in it having all these little fun characters to interact with, it being like an archipelago and you being able to design the sort of hub world of it, all of that. It does seem like a lot of stuff to do, which is really
totally. Yeah, and I mean, I find the interior decoration aspect of Animal Crossing really relaxing and fun. And so for me, this is going to add a lot more gameplay hours for me than just working on my island more, which I like to do. But at a certain point, it's like it just gets too overwhelming for me. I'm like, I don't know what to do any of this fucking land. But building these houses is going to be really great. And I love the archipelago idea, like you're saying. And it just seems like it's going to be really fun to hop in and out of. And so because of that, in a vacuum, $25 for this piece of content in a vacuum, I think is a good price. I think as long as it adds a substantive amount of houses to build, and I think it will.
Yeah.
I think it's going to easily justify its price.
Yes.
Does that justify the price of the Nintendo Switch Online membership increase on the whole? We'll discuss once Nintendo actually reveals when more information is coming.
Yeah.
Well, Tucker, is there anything else you want to say about this?
I think that everything here was great. It was way more than I expected.
Yes.
Again, I was sort of expecting there not to be paid DLC. I think that was a complete surprise. Everything for Happy Home fucking Paradise it isn't entirely a surprise, and that was really nice to see. And I wasn't expecting everything from the data mines to be dropped today. So the fact that soon, the fact that it's all coming and there's a lot more than I was expecting, and it does seem like a lot of stuff that will change the way that you interact with the game. I'm really, really, really pleased with this. When you do contextualize it against the fact that a lot of it is utilized content, it becomes a little bit shaky. But for the game that exists and for this sort of being the big expansion, and now we can look at sort of what New Horizons is as a whole, I think it makes this game great. I mean, I already thought it was great, but I really do think everything that's added here gives this game the granularity that I was looking for. The fact that you can add those dividing walls and really change up your house, and there's colored lighting and soundscapes, and you can add particle effects to your furniture and stuff. There's so much texture here to everything that they've added options for. The thing that I loved about New Horizons was it gave you so many options of changing the color palettes and placing things outside and crafting things that you wanted to. And this does seem to be following in that trend of giving you a lot of nitty gritty to get into, which is what I think is most satisfying about Animal Crossing.
No, I agree in large part. Again, I have troubles with how this DLC was rolled out in the first place, and how much of it is reused. But ultimately, it does motivate me to play. I'm gonna actually start playing again today, so I can start cleaning shit up, because my island is a clusterfuck.
I was thinking about that. So when we show up on November 5th. And we suddenly have access to Happy Home Paradise and the Roost and farming and all this and blah, 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 blah. And we can go to Harv's Island and we can do. How does Isabelle lay out all this information? Because in the world of Animal Crossing, they like saying, "Hey, there's this new update. You can go talk to Tom Nook or Isabelle, and they'll give you the information." This is going to be the longest series of Isabelle sitting at her desk talking to you that we've ever seen. But I would like to go back to it to sort of knock out the fact that I've been gone for a year before adding on top of that all the new stuff.
I will say two things. First of all, this game is a lot more forgiving when you return later than other ones have been.
Yeah, sure.
Which is good. And second of all, we're going to be going back to like fucking Splatoon 1. You haven't logged on in 3 months. There's a 95 guns and stages and patch balances and Splatfest results to post, and fucking Callie and Marie are just on the brink of suicide, reading out all of it to you. I'm sure Isabelle's gonna be she's gonna be drinking with that fucking bourbon cup she keeps on her desk at all times, probably. But no, I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by this presentation, and we'll see. We'll of course do a discussion about maybe even a review of Happy Home Paradise if it's something that you can really complete. And we'll of course have impressions on this content. So, Tucker, we're gonna get the fuck out of here. We'll be back at some point in the indiscriminate future when Nintendo reveals when this, because N64 is supposed to drop this month, right? Yes. That's what they said.
And Genesis.
Conversation another time. We'll talk to you later. Like, subscribe, Discord, fucking do it or don't. If you made it to the end of the video, though, we want to talk to you because clearly you're somebody who basks in our presence. So we'd like to give you the opportunity to do that further. See you later.